The product I'm working on is a desk lamp made of wood and was designed using SolidWorks. SolidWorks allowed me to create a lamp with realistic dimensions. These dimensions were used to create a drawing sheet for each component that will be made as shown. First, I started with lumberwood with the size of 1.5 inches, larger than I needed, so I decided to reduce its size to 1 inch. I secured the wood in the vise and used a machine to saw through and make the cut. Then I moved into cutting the chopped wood into smaller pieces to create the structure using a blade runner machine. Next step will be making the joints, hands and head of the lamp. Making these parts were the hardest part of the project because any small mistake would mess up everything and I will have to redo everything again. Before I made any cuts, I decided to measure and mark where the cuts should be so that I would reduce the risk of failing. Then I used the blade runner machine to make the cuts as shown. And here is the final result in the pictures. Once all the pieces were cut, I went to the next step, which is the sanding process, so that I could have a nice smooth surface to work with. I also sanded the edges to smooth out the edges for a rounded, smooth shape. And here is the result. Next, I decided to use multiple dowels to assemble the parts. The challenging part of using dowels is choosing the proper mounting places for them to hold pieces together. For that reason, I decided to draw an X mark as a reference to find the center. Then I used a drill bit of the same size as the dowel to make the holes. The following process will be joining process. During the joining process, I will assemble all components, and to ensure it's secured, I will use a glue. Here is the final result. The last process is the finishing process. During this process, I will apply mineral spirit as a cleaner to clean the component before I apply the finishing layer. Then I applied 3 coats of polyurethane as finishing layer to have a nice and good look.